Okay, so go ahead and turn it face me. All right, so fighting on the knees. It's unique to SCA rapier and SCA armor. Even in cut thrust, we don't do it, right? Because we get hit in the legs, we're done. But I want to start by showing, your opponent's kneeling and you're standing up. This is where everything's the most dangerous, okay? And it's because she can't go anywhere. If I give her too hard of a thrust, she can't move back to take any force off of it, all right? So when you've got your opponent legged, that's when you got to be super careful about your calibration in particular, and that's where you see most of the hard hits come in. Not only because she can't break distance, she can't move away, but also because when she's kneeling like that, what's the target that is the most convenient and the most obvious for me? It's her head. And of course, shots to the body, with the same calibration won't bother you as much as a shot to the head. So be super careful about that, all right? And I also recommend, in particular from here, you've heard me stress before the whole extend your arm before you move into the target to maximize your reach and also to maximize your point control. I think that's particularly important here because from here, if I extend and move in, I can touch lightly, okay? But if I step in, then extend and blast her, she's got, again, nowhere to go, and it's going to most likely hit her in the face, and it's not going to be a good day for anybody, okay? So, other than that, that's, safety out of the way. The big thing, of course, is when you're fighting an opponent who's on the ground, they can't move, you can. So, no matter if you are the biggest stone in the world, when you're both standing up, at this point now you control distance because Trimeris isn't a knee walking, and even in kingdoms where there is knee walking, I've never seen somebody knee walk so fast that they can keep up with somebody who's on their feet, all right? And so from here, I can determine exactly what distance I want to be at. I can control when the fight's going to happen, right? Because I can control the distance, all right? Now, when I'm up doing this, and obviously we're just doing single sword for demonstration right now, but, what am I looking at here? Well, I want to make sure I'm defended, okay, and I want to offend her. And like I said, right, from her most obvious target, the easiest accessible target is right into her mask, okay? If you're going to be a little more cautious, then drop down, go to the gorget, go to the upper chest, okay? Similarly, otherwise, same things apply. If she's on guard, okay, gotta go on guard if you would. From here, same thing, right? I can still shoot that arm, okay? I can still shoot the hand, I can still shoot the upper arm. And again, I have the advantage here. Normally if we're fighting on our feet and I shoot at that upper arm, she might retreat and try to pick up the parry. She can't get out of range here. I control the distance. So from here, the most she'll be able to do is parry, okay? Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry, sweetie. Okay, so again, fighting the opponent on the ground, just make sure that you're being particularly careful about the calibration, all right? And targets are generally chest and up, and you can still pick those hands, control the distance at your will. Now, we switch positions so that she's standing up. Okay, so now I'm legged, I'm on the ground, okay? Now I've got a problem because I want to move and I can't because I can't knee walk, or even if I can, I'm not going to be able to knee walk as fast as she can move. What I recommend is when you set up, don't set up square with your opponent. Set up, obviously, strong side forward, just as you'd be if you were standing up. Okay. If if you're single, then I even try to narrow that profile even more if possible. Okay. If you've got a secondary that you can use to offend, you could square up a little bit more. If you've got a buckler, maybe you want to be a little more square. But I do recommend making sure that your strong side, your main offensive weapon, is presented forward. And the reason is because now I need to have the maximum distance and reach that I can as we're fighting, okay? And now my targets, generally speaking, change from going from her chest up to her waist down and occasionally her hand, okay? And the reason is the exact opposite reason why when I was standing up. So if she comes in, okay, I've got to be worried about making sure that I control her attack. And now I'm pretty much delegated to counterattacking, okay, or riposte, or simultaneous attack where she attacks and I counter punch, okay? my targets at this point, unsurprisingly, suddenly now I'm really interested in the foot, the knee, and down, okay? For a couple reasons. One, if I extend my arm, her knee is the closest target, okay? The other reason being, all the advantages she has being up, if I touch that foot, if I take her foot and she goes down, now we're on the same level, right? But this is one of those situations where you're going to have to make sure that you're prepared for them to close distance and initiate the attack and take the appropriate action. Because, you know, generally speaking, they're not going to go on guard, okay? And if she goes on guard and then suddenly comes into distance without attacking, and I can initiate the attack, right? That never happens against anybody who's got any experience putting somebody on the ground. It's not a thing, okay? Nobody who's experienced is going to step into range. Now, what you can do is you can obviously lay back a little bit and cheat range. So as she comes in, and she thinks there, okay, I'm safe, I'm at a distance, now I can roll forward and try to pick, okay? So I can cheat distance a little bit, but I can only cheat it as much as I can move while I'm on the ground, okay? You know, knee walking obviously allows you to do something different, but again, if you've got an alert opponent, it's not that much of a change from just having to sit. So having said that, what I recommend, again, getting down, making sure you're nice and defensive, okay? Looking for the opportunity, because particularly if I've got an opponent who's attacking, okay, and don't step too far into range, right? You're teasing with me because I'm on the ground, right? She wants to initiate an attack, right? But I'm going to keep foiling her attempts to attack. I'm going to keep her bound up. I'm going to keep her occupied. And then at some point, she doesn't step out of range far enough, okay? Because I foiled her attack and I can counterpick, all right? So a lot of this is going to be riding out the attack until your opponent either loses track of the distance enough that you can pick, okay? You can get that shot in, whether it's the body or the leg or what have you, okay? Or getting, or the head. Or, you know, basically getting your opponent frustrated enough that when instead of stepping just into distance, if she extends and steps just into distance, that's way far into distance, right? Okay, so that you can do that, okay? Now, I'm going to frustrate her so that instead, she starts to step in, and although she's in distance, she's not keeping track of my distance control, okay? Or, she attacks and retreats, right? Attack, retreat, boom, okay? Attack, retreat, okay? Attack, retreat, but she doesn't get out fast enough, or she doesn't break enough distance. And suddenly I can capitalize on that, all right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take turns fighting. You're going to be fighting from your knees the whole time. It's going to give us a chance to drill, defending ourselves on the ground and initiating an attack from the ground, okay? All right.